There's something you need to understand. When a woman can't stop thinking about a man, something begins to change inside him, even if he has no idea why. You won't see it happening. There's no notification, no message, no obvious signal. But somewhere, in the quiet spaces of his life, he starts to feel something shift. It might begin as a strange restlessness, a thought that doesn't belong to him, a sudden memory of someone he hasn't spoken to in weeks, maybe months. And the truth is, this isn't coincidence, because when a woman deeply thinks about a man, not casually, not briefly, but intensely, she is, in a way, reaching into his world without touching it. Philosophers have always hinted at this invisible connection. Carl Jung once said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." And this is one of those realities. You see, when her thoughts become consistent, emotional, almost obsessive, three subtle but powerful things begin to happen to him. Things he cannot explain, things he cannot ignore, things that slowly pull him toward her, even if he's trying to stay away. So, if you've ever wondered why someone suddenly reappears, why a man who seemed distant starts acting differently, stay with me, because what you're about to understand is something most people feel, but almost no one can explain. Part 1, the invisible pull begins. Before anything happens on the surface, it begins deep within him, not logically, not consciously, but emotionally, almost instinctively. He starts thinking about you out of nowhere. He could be busy, working, scrolling, talking to someone else, and suddenly your name crosses his mind like a whisper he didn't invite. At first he ignores it. He tells himself it's random, but it keeps happening. And here's the strange part. The more intensely she thinks about him, the more frequent these thoughts become. It's like an invisible thread being pulled tighter. In philosophy, this resembles what Jung described as the collective unconscious, a shared emotional field where human minds subtly influence one another without direct contact. Think about it like this. Have you ever had someone pop into your mind and then suddenly they text you, or you dream about someone, and the next day they appear in your life again? This isn't magic. It's emotional energy seeking alignment. And when a woman can't stop thinking about a man, she's unknowingly feeding that connection. He begins to feel curious about you again, not because he decided to, but because something inside him is quietly asking, "Why am I thinking about her?" And curiosity is always the first step toward reconnection. Part 2, his emotional state starts to shift. There comes a point where it's no longer just thoughts, it becomes a feeling, a subtle disturbance in his emotional world, like something is slightly out of place, even when everything around him seems fine. He might be laughing with friends, busy with work, even talking to someone new. But beneath all of it, there's a quiet discomfort he can't explain. And somehow, it leads back to you. This is where the connection deepens, because thoughts can be ignored, but emotions, they demand attention. He begins to feel your absence, not as a memory, but as a presence that's missing. It's paradoxical. You're not there, yet somehow he feels you more than ever. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "What is done out of love always takes place beyond good and evil." And that's the thing about emotional connection. It doesn't follow logic. It doesn't ask for permission. It simply exists. And when it's activated, it begins to reshape how he feels. He may try to distract himself, scroll more, work harder, talk to other people. But the feeling lingers. It shows up in quiet moments, late at night, in between conversations, in the silence he can't escape. And slowly, he starts to realize something unsettling. Why does it feel like she's still here, even when she's gone? Because at some level, Her thoughts have turned into an emotional echo inside him, and emotional echoes don't fade easily. Part 3. He feels an urge to reach out. There's a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when everything changes. Up until now, he has been resisting, questioning, trying to make sense of the thoughts, the feelings, the subtle pull he cannot explain. But resistance has a limit. And when that limit breaks, it doesn't explode loudly. It whispers. He finds himself staring at your name, scrolling through old messages, rereading conversations he once forgot, pausing at your picture, just a little longer than he should. And then comes the question he can no longer avoid. Should I text her? Not because he planned to, not because it's logical, but because the silence between you has started to feel heavier than the risk of breaking it. This is the turning point. The philosopher Carl Jung believed that what we resist in the unconscious only grows stronger, and here his resistance has been feeding the very thing he tried to ignore. You. But understand this clearly. It's not just you he's reaching for. It's the feeling you created inside him, the familiarity, the emotional imprint, the version of himself that existed when you were present in his world. And now, that version is calling him back. He may hesitate. Type a message, then delete it, lock his phone, then unlock it again, convince himself it's a bad idea, then feel the urge return stronger than before, because this isn't just communication anymore, it's gravity, and eventually, gravity wins. A message is sent, a call is made, or he accidentally finds a reason to appear in your life again. And when that happens, it will feel sudden to you, but to him, it's been building all along. Part 4. The connection either awakens or consumes him. This is where everything reaches its truth. Because once he gives in, once he breaks the silence, once he allows himself to step back into your world, something irreversible happens. Clarity. Not the kind that comes instantly, but the kind that unfolds slowly, like dawn after a long night. You see, all this time, he's been reacting to thoughts, to feelings, to an invisible pull he couldn't understand. But now, he has to confront it. Why you? Why now? Why does your presence, or even the idea of you, carry this weight inside him? The philosopher Albert Camus once explored the idea that humans are constantly searching for meaning in a world that often feels indifferent. And in this moment, you become that meaning. Not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because something about you stayed. In a world full of distractions, temporary connections, endless options, you remained. And that realization splits his path into two directions. Either he awakens, he recognizes the depth of what he feels. He chooses to act, not out of impulse, but intention. He becomes present, honest and real in a way he wasn't before. Because now he understands. Some connections aren't replaceable, or he is consumed by confusion, by fear, by the weight of emotions he never learned how to handle. He may pull back again, not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much. As Lao Tzu said, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. And not everyone is ready for that courage. So, if a woman can't stop thinking about a man, it doesn't just stay within her, it moves, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. It reaches him in ways he cannot see, but cannot ignore. And the real question is not whether he will feel it, because he will. The real question is, what will he do when he finally understands it? Will he rise to meet the connection, or retreat from the intensity of something real? And maybe, just maybe, the same question applies to you, because deep connections don't just reveal others, they reveal you.